Now to a victory overnight for President Trump's effort to fund his border wall, even as Democrats take a major step that could lead to possible impeachment. ABC's White House correspondent Tara Palmieri is on the North Lawn with that story. Tara, good morning to you.
Good morning, Whit. The House is out of session for the summer, but there are still a lot of unresolved issues for the Democrats. There's broad opposition to the Supreme Court ruling in favor of a wall, and there's also the open debate on impeachment.
Overnight, the Supreme Court giving President Trump the green light to spend $2.5 billion in defense funds to build a wall along the U.S.-Mexican border. The court's conservative majority siding with the White House in a narrow 5-4 ruling, lifting an injunction by a lower court that halted construction. In February, the president declared a national emergency to reallocate the Pentagon's budget to try to stop the flow of migrants through the southern border. The president calling the Supreme Court's decision a victory, tweeting, "Big win for border security and the rule of law." 2020 candidate Senator Kamala Harris accusing the president of abusing his executive power, tweeting, "Congress did not appropriate these funds for Trump's medieval vanity project. Let's be clear. Trump's wall has never been about keeping the American people safe." While Democrats are united against the wall, they're still split on impeachment after former special counsel Robert Mueller testified on Wednesday that the president had not been cleared of obstructing justice and was not exonerated. 101 House members support impeachment, and some House Democrats are accusing Speaker Nancy Pelosi of slow-walking impeachment hearings.
I'm not trying to run out of the clock. Let's get sophisticated about this, okay? We will proceed when we have what we need to proceed, not one day sooner.
House Judiciary Chairman Jerry Nadler said their hearings are a part of the impeachment process.
We are investigating all of this, and we are going to see what remedies we could recommend, including the possibility of article of impeachment.
The president blasting Democrats, calling it a fishing expedition.
They're doing everything they can with the impeachment nonsense. These people are clowns.
Nadler may be showing that they're taking steps in the direction of impeachment, but the House has not formally voted on whether to impeach or not. Whit.
And Tara, going back to the issue of immigration for a moment, President Trump is also announcing a new asylum deal with Guatemala to help stop the flow of migrants.
That's right, Whit. This new deal allows the U.S. to deport migrants who enter the U.S. by way of Guatemala and don't actually first apply for asylum in Guatemala. Now, this new deal is called a Safe Third Country Agreement, and critics are already calling it illegal and immoral. It's bound to face a lot of legal challenges in the U.S., and it already has in Guatemala. Whit?
Tara Palmieri at the White House for us. Thank you. Dan?
Whit and Tara, thank you. A lot to talk about here on the political front. So let's bring in ABC News chief political analyst Matthew Dowd, who's joining us from Texas. Matthew, let's start with this border wall. Overnight, the president called this decision from the Supreme Court, which will allow him to use Pentagon dollars to start building that wall. He called it, quote, a big win. I know you disagree with the president quite frequently, but is he right on this one? Is it, in fact, a big win?
Well, I think it's a win for him in at least today or tomorrow or in the short term. So, yes, he got the money that he wanted, but I think he's still left with a lot of questions unresolved. One is there's a case going to still be pending, so in a year or a year and a half from now, he may lose that case that's currently in play. But also he's in the situation where now he's having the Pentagon pay for something that he said the government of Mexico was going to pay for. So, and the other part of this, Dan, that I think that Republicans have to be fearful of is how much power do you want to vest in the chief executive? This is another part of power being vested in the chief executive. When a Democrat, if a Democrat ever wins the presidency again, those precedences are going to be in place. So in the short term, yes, a win. In the long term, it's problematic, I think, if the Republicans want to fight a Democrat in the White House over executive power.
Yeah, a lot of questions about executive power and the precedent set going forward here. Let me move on to this question. So border security, which we've been talking about, as well as the ongoing debate over whether to impeach, which we were talking about a few moments ago, both of those issues are likely to be squarely on the agenda when the Democratic presidential candidates meet in the coming week for a pair of debates. What is at stake for these candidates as we head into these debates?
Well, Dan, I think there's a couple of things. First, as you mentioned, I think they're going to be put in the position, and I'm sure by the questioners, is if they disagree with Nancy Pelosi's strategy. A number of the Democratic candidates for president have come out for impeachment or to move towards hearings, which Nancy Pelosi has been very patient about and very, as she said, she disagrees, but slow walk this. So they're going to be put in the position of do they or do they not agree with Nancy Pelosi on this. The other part, I think there's a huge amount of pressure for the candidates that are polling low, because as you know, in September, when the Democrats had the debate with ABC, there's a whole new set of standards that are going to be put in place. You have to be at 2% of the polls. You have to have 130,000 contributors. And many of the candidates are going to be there next week don't meet those requirements today. So they're going to have to figure out a way how they jump over that and get to the place they can be in the debates in September.
Yep, we're heading into a time of some pretty severe winnowing pretty soon. Matthew Dowd, really appreciate your analysis on a Saturday morning.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.